Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first of a series of NCSA's Community Conversations. Most, if not all of you, would have seen the documentary A Rock and a Hard Place. The aim of the documentary was to highlight the realities of drug use and addiction, which impact the individual, families, and communities. We have heard from persons who could be our son, daughter, brother, sister, or parent, as they relate their stories of struggles with drug addiction, recovery, rehabilitation, and reintegration. At this time, we now invite you to raise your concerns, ask questions, and get support. We are here to share, educate, engage, and provide support as we tackle this public issue of drug abuse. Thank you, and I now hand over to our manager, Mrs. Betty Hunt.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out and share with us tonight. Emphasis is share with us. Ignore the high table. We're just here to facilitate the discussion. We really want to hear from you. This is Jennifer, one of our program officers. At this time, we just want to briefly introduce to you some members of the team. There's Nicole, our admin officer, just stand quickly so people get the face of the NCSA. There's Cindy, who is the first voice you hear when you call the National Council on Substance Abuse. There's Cheryl, who helps out in any area that she can, and anybody else who comes in, I will take some time and introduce you. So before we go, I know that you have heard of Plan A, you know the NCSA, so I would like at this time to ask the person who produced the documentary in such a sensitive way, for those of you who have not yet seen her. You recognize me. So Verdon has come with us, and he's going to be integral to this discussion. I always say, a lot of us walk the walk, but a lot of us do not walk the talk. And Verdon is somebody who has walked the talk. And you will hear other stories as the day progresses. So let me introduce you to my delinquent deputy manager. Here's Troy. Troy, say hi. And somebody without which this could be made possible, the chairman of our board, Mr. Hadford Howell, who is right in the back there, and the person who is struggling with our making sure that we are heard, Timothy Eiffel, who's our IT. So we'll get started. Troy is not really delinquent, but he's late. Right. So what we did in order to stimulate the discussion, as much as we want to hear from you, and we really want to hear from you in a real way, because we recognize, probably turn off, huh? We recognize that, oh dear. We recognize that during the course of the day, understand we were having a lot of outages from Barbados Light and Power, so just bear with us. We recognize that a lot of the times what we do is based on a lot of book knowledge, a lot of what we expect things to be. But sometimes when we hear from persons, as we did in the documentary, it really forces us to, first of all, look at our biases and question everything we thought we knew before about a particular subject. So this is the forum tonight. No question is a silly question. No observation is out of place. All we ask is that you make your interventions respectfully. When we watched the video, when we watched the documentary as a team here at the NCSA, there were three main recurrent themes that kept coming out. The participants spoke about family, the impact of their family on their decisions, and also how the decision to use drugs impacted their family. So we pulled that out to speak about a little more. Then there was contact with the criminal justice system and how it impacted their lives. And finally, something we thought that we would address, quite frankly, is this whole issue of what rehab looks like, what relapse looks like, and the opportunities that are available, and also give help to family members and those friends and co-workers who are trying their best to support somebody through their issues with drug use but just don't know how, or sometimes it seems too much. And so this is this forum for you to identify some of those issues so that when we tailor our programming, we are responding to real and not what we see or what happens in a St. Vincent or St. Lucia in North America. It is what's happening here. And so some of the clips that we took out, just a couple clips to start the discussion, we first look at the first agency of socialization, which is the family. And so we pulled a couple of clips from that to start the conversation. So if we can get just a couple of those clips and listen to, again, to what the persons are saying and see if there's anything that you want to question, that you want to comment on, anything that you want to share as we move on from here. We will spend about 30 minutes on each topic, and then we look at the impacts of the criminal justice system. And then finally, we'll see how we can help persons on the journey to wellness again.
So does it the pressures of asking the reason why that you're such a handsome kid or
I think this
a
one,
beautiful talented lady or girl on the street?
not
All problems come from that one.
home? Okay. Go ahead. This is the one I want to start with. MZ. You want MZ and how he was raised.
Which ideas was
Right, this is it.
dreadful or terrible. All I know is real dreadful. I can't Name Italy for one father, when my little brother for the other father, or a mother, so it's hard for my mother to look out for me. So, my so to me, I thought my so put she children in fact when she might chat father about. She do things so she could make sure that we was waiting at home and thing all the time. But when try here with dread, when I dread.
Go on.
I used to look up to my big sister, but I put myself in a position where I fought too hard to be like her. I never got there, you know. How should I put it? My dad, he's gone now, but I used to look at my father like my favorite, like my best friend. I felt comfortable to tell him anything.
You want more? Okay. All right. So we're going to pause here, and you will see that for both of those stories, somehow in the fog of drug use, they went back to what family life was like as young persons and what they know. Suzanne spoke about losing the trust, trying to live up and be like somebody else, and then ultimately losing trust. MZ spoke about how difficult it was in his family setting. How difficult it was in his family setting to basically get the attention he needed and the impacts on that. And that's a factor of life across a lot of families in Barbados today, especially in mixed households, mixed parents, blended households, and so on. We have heard so many stories of persons blending families, and then children of one partner takes precedence over the other partner, and usually it is the money-earning person, and those children take precedence. We never stop to think when we're choosing partners how that will impact on any young people in relationship. And sometimes that goes a lot deeper and it affects a lot more issues. Sometimes drug use is the cause, sometimes it's the effect. In our counseling here, we see a lot of younger persons referred to from schools, and a lot of the times, even though they're referred for what are a lot of times referred to as antisocial behaviors. It may not be drug use, but it may be leading there. When you start to scratch the surface, it is something to do with family life. Something to do with family life. And often, when these children come into contact with the criminal justice system, the juvenile justice system, they sometimes may be taken away to the young offender institution, but at the end of the day, they're returned to the same institute, the same family that they were taken from. Right now, our out-of-school suspension center, the Edna Nichols Center, I think children are referred there for 2 weeks at a time. But that's 2 weeks still in your school uniform, still holding the same hours. So at 3 o'clock, you're free to go back to the environment which sent you to Edna Nichols in the first place. And God knows what else. Also, we have to look at, I was discussing with Chantel some time ago, we keep saying it takes a village, it takes a village. And I challenged Chantel to think about what her village looks like now. And I would like to challenge everybody in this room. Think about if your village now looks like the village you grew up with. And see if we can have those same interventions applied to what is happening today. For us, one of my siblings is here, but I'll introduce her later on my journey. For us, the village was always a parent at home. Always a parent at home. When you get home from school, a parent at home. When you're leaving home, you're leaving with a parent or an adult. That is not the case now. And a lot of the time, it may also be about, Jackie, you are in the room, but I think you but dialing me. Yes. Right. Yeah. You still calling me, Jackie? You need to turn off. Great. Right. A lot of times we need to think about how the economics of today is impacting family. Right. If we have parents who are getting younger, 18. I think I saw a case in the paper yesterday where the mother was 30-something and the daughter is 16. 30 young, not 30 young, because I was trying to do the math. I'm saying she was either 17 or 18, and they're both charged with assault on the same person, right? I'm trying to think when my mother would be charged with assault, except on me. But, you know, and that happens, and a lot of the time, parents are out working, grandparents are out working, because grandparents are now in 40s and 50s, and great-grandparents are out working. And when they're not working, nobody looking after children, right? And so I'm opening the floor for you to help us with what do you feel our interventions at a primary school should look like? What do you feel we should start, how do you feel we should start helping our younger folk? How do you feel, what programs do you think we should put in place to help parents and people like you who have shown an interest in helping somebody? Because I'm sure everybody here knows somebody. Everybody here knows somebody. So as you think about that, I'm going to ask Verdon to think about it, and I'm going to ask him to come right here and sit with me, right, as a resource person tonight, having walked you all. And as Verdon comes, I will let you know. I said about walking the walk and talking the talk, because my colleagues know this. I too have a son who has fallen prey to problematic drug use. So my sibling right there, say hi. They know the walk. They know the walk. But the one thing I have found with family and close family members is that everybody has to find their own way. You cannot determine because you react this way that a sister, a brother, a father should react the same way. However, at the same time, there must be some uniformity. Otherwise, this thing called drug use, and so it's very manipulative, I find. So you learn to get what you want from who you want it from, you know? So it constantly keeps you off balance, and it keeps the institution that we call family off balance. And that is how it can perhaps destroy what we know traditionally as family. So Verdun, I'm going to ask you to share a bit of your story.
First things first. Opportunity is a very scarce commodity.
All right.
hitting you up on the head one time.
All right.
By any means necessary. Some people does the rope, some people take too. So they didn't give a damn if it's a grandmother, if it's a grandfather. Grandmother might be sleeping with a gold teeth and she out, and you can go home with a hammer and a nail and dig them out. To get doctors more. The addiction. I wouldn't like my dog on the fleas to get addicted. Addiction is a serious matter. And I ain't only talking about Barbados, you know. I'm talking about global. And what would it be like if I was still in addiction where my children or my grandchildren is concerned? How they would look at me? No, these are things these are hard start realities that you got to face when you in this addiction, you know, cause it's a serious life. This is coming from human to animalistic behaviors, you know. I share that, cause some people go there and they do. So Lord, the prayer box to acquire this stone, this rock in a hard place. And memories don't leave like people do. But right now, there's so many things in my mind right now with that. My mind foggy right now. Because I would like to put it on paper though. And get it in sequence. Right? I want to drive home another nail in the coffee, you know. I mean, and you think that yes, you know, and the evil forces are targeting me for getting on with this behavior. Shabbat is a straight on man, though. You believe one time he did for me, and now he fighting against me. He fighting against the enemy. Man, people start targeting me with this doctor. Yes, some people come complimenting me about it. But let me tell you, the evil forces and please, though. The evil forces and please, anytime you try to reverse it first, the time, you're in trouble. The entities out there is not easy. I mean, there's some persons in the higher echelons of this same very society that we live in that ain't pleased no day, you know. Because you stopping their product from selling. Ah, hey, what's serious? It's serious. You stopping them product from selling, you become a thorn in their flesh. Or in the pocket. Huh? So, when you say A, you gotta say B. If you can nip it in the bud, but addiction, man, you just get on the road so fast and so swift. Unmanageability, and look, my son, I just gotta take my time because so much thoughts to be going through my mind, and so much things, and so much instances that I went through, and I know that these people that just go through, I don't even know which one to touch first. So you see, in another night that we got a discussion, that's gonna be the right time for me. That's gonna be the right time for me to bring everything under the one umbrella and got it in sequence. You understand?
We're done, and let you pause right here.
You're right.
We can let you pause
I
right
really
here,
hope.
coming back to you, yeah. Because one of the things you mentioned there, and something that I find that in Barbados we don't do a lot of, is this kind of autobiography and biographies of people who've walked the walk. And I heard you say just now you would like to document it. That's a brave thing. Because as much as we're doing this, it took a lot of courage. People may say that persons like Verdun, like Suzanne, like Bruce, didn't really know what they were doing, but they were honest. They were very honest. But it also takes a lot to come forward and expose yourself in that way in a small society like ours. And so if the opportunity presents itself, Verdon, and the NCSA can help in any way in documenting your journey, I am sure it will be as riveting as you say it is. I am sure we can use it as an additional tool, if you allow us to. But I am sure it will serve to somebody who reads it, who hears it, whatever form is produced.
It's all
to
about
stop.
enlightenment. Sorry for
Correct.
crossing you.
No, you're crossing.
It's
right?
all about
It's that,
enlightenment.
that kind of discussion, right? But enlighten us some more. And this is coming from somebody who has been there, who
Did that.
has done that,
And tell that.
and done with that. I like that piece. I like that. Been there, done that, and done with that. So now, I'm going to open the floor for any comments, questions. Nothing is too silly. Anything? Yes, we have a query. So hold on. Yeah, there you go. Yes.
You're on the mic.
It's on. It's on, Carol? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right. I didn't expect that. Sorry, my name is Karen Perch. I just wanted to say, let me carry this a bit further. I really enjoyed the documentary. I thought it was very informative. And I think that things like this, earlier on in development, are what are needed so that people have a better understanding and appreciation, not just for the harsh realities of drug use.
Use the one of these. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Yeah.
To everyone, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
not only the harsh realities of it, but what recovery looks like. And I don't think that people generally have a real understanding of what that entire reality looks like. So I felt like for me, this was a very good eye-opening example of what it is like to deal with drug addiction. So I think if we can have more opportunities, and again, even forums like this, where we're able to really have that interaction and to hear from people who have experienced this and dealt with it throughout their lives, that can help us as a society, because you need to have a better understanding. And I know that, sorry, I should also say that I'm a social worker, but young people know about the drugs from primary school. They're very aware of the different types of drugs that exist and whatnot, but they don't really, it's all fun and games at that level. They don't really have an understanding of the repercussions that can come about when you actually engage with these drugs on a long-term basis. And I also think that they don't necessarily always appreciate that it just takes one time and then your entire life can be transformed. And I really got that from the documentary. And yeah, I just thought it was an excellent job, and I feel like there's so much more that needs to be told, and I hope that this is not the only one that will be featured. So yeah.
So thank you for that. So thank you for that intervention. There's a hand in the back. Carol?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Let me introduce myself first. Mr. Skillet, dramatist, writer, dancer, everything in Barbados. All of these sound magnificent. I applaud this very much. Applaud the lady for the movementation that you made. It was very, very excellent. I was home doing nothing. My girlfriend came by me, confusing me, and that's the first time pop up on TV. But you know what? I like this guy business. Unfortunately today, I'm disappointed in who I see here. Cause this is a ghetto story. You know what I get that? This is a ghetto story. The high effort laws of life don't pay us no attention. And we can come to there and talk real good and go home and what days of our lives. But we can forget them things. They kind of talk the truth. And they kind of talk straight. I saw all the good things. It was a second talk, but the other things no. When I watched this thing first, what they call was this lady. very close to me. I used to be it. What going on in Barbados? I know. This thing hit me. I thought it was shock therapy. Cause when I started to watch it, and I could see people I know, see people I see by the street. I had my full attention for 4 hours. Cause I watched it about 3 times to make sure I could get this thing on style or analyze in my head. But when we see it in this form, I asked myself, we was telling truth or we was creating a story? That's what I start with this business here. We telling the truth or we creating a story? We creating attention. What it really is that we are doing when we produce, I call it educational tool right now. When we produce it, what was the achievements after seeing this here? What is the, we call it declaration of the persons who have been involved in the crack world, the rock world, whatever word you want to call it. Seeing the people here today, I know we had a rain out, and everybody swing around and taking hot. This guy, when it cool down, people just forget about it. I was getting work today, I fair job. Cause I think I needed to be here. And looking at everything at the structure of the product, I asked myself, where we going with it? How far we intend to go with it? We just say we get extend behind left, extend behind right. But at the end of the day, right, when we let around the communities that you was just talking about, I just got to write all these things so I can remember, because it's got enough to say when it comes to social. Because I live in a social area. I live in Ivy. Corner Liquor Village, spend time in Chapman Lane, spend time in Orleans, wait, school them places, spend time in Nelson Street. So it's not a joke when it comes to that business. And anytime you feel a fella making a joke, it got offend me. And I had to do it yet. I sell them. Sorry. The little rock, we wash them with Clorox, harden them, dry them, and get a razor blade and cut them as small as you could get a magnifying glass in them for $5.
Oh, micro dot.
A micro dot. What you know what's going on, boss? A micro dot
Micro dot.
or cram.
Correct is right.
I know what talking about though. We come here. I gotta talk to you know.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta talk to all of them.
Right.
So when I sit down and watch this thing, my eyes here full of water the whole evening. I know you know. If I take that mask out, talk my eyes cloudy. Cause it's party system. I tell the boy bring 5. I never felt like bring 5. You gotta bring some galvanize on nails. You gotta bring sand though.
Oh, but thank you.
You gotta bring sand one night, one more at 2 o'clock. I get 2 rams though. Cause Barber had 475. 475 and 5. What about my time?
But I ain't sending me a call, yeah?
Correct.
That's what you said.
5, not 475. So when we look at the change, I my man in the rehabilitation section and the other people, I go look at the man that selling it. He got to rehabilitate too. Cause it was one of the man destroying their brains.
Not only
I am
that.
proud.
Not only that. When he dealing with it, he be picking up like 3 fingers too, you know.
I never pick it up so boy, you gotta do gloves, boy.
Ah!
I gotta do gloves, boys watch TV, you know what TV?
All right, gang.
In a crack house, we over there by years and you're working in there.
Right.
We cover your head and cover your hand. Everything exposed because you end up putting your hand away and walk away with it. You know that too.
All right.
So I gotta tell the truth. I ain't getting rid of Ben and talking all these pretty things that people like. From there though, I look at the rehabilitation at the market selling it. Right now, my guilt was up in my throat the last 10 years. I back off of this for a good while because when I look around the community, we didn't really build anybody who was destroying people. And the distraction of people is a serious thing when it comes back to you. In 1999, I get saved. I get up at a place called the Israel Foundation. And way back for, I ain't get yet. Girlfriends. I ended up being a dancer by mistake, not knowing I had the talent. Friday, I start working in communities and trying to explain to people what you don't know. I get a chance, and I take the chance. You just give it 10 chances. That's like a lot to take it though. But you gotta give yourself a chance. If you don't give yourself a chance, there'll be no transformation for you, nor nobody.
Starts for you.
It start with you. And I had a dope yet. I had a rapper father yet. I had a blackie yet. They say it was don't get high on your own.
Supply.
You know it gets. So he's selling all I want then. Cause you had children to feed.
Listen,
Well,
and they got another one added to the whole scheme of things right now. Some they call a Molly.
Molly. How you talking about
Oh,
that?
golly.
Cause you
Where the hell
the
am Molly?
I ain't get us team here right now the new slang for them things. We ain't got the slang yet. One is still at dope. You know old kids call it dope. We got new words, they ain't giving us no worry. I just sit down, listen about thought and then give any words. I get back down to your donation to the conversation just now. Communities. The community that ain't we living in there anymore. And we always looking for somebody to blame. We be doing so all the time, like bam, 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 bam. Why we do that? When we get bright, I mean, I come here, I get forced to do gigs. We went to university, get a diploma and a master's, we move in Millennium Heights. We move in Fort George. We move up so. And we move up so. I left Pectoralics. I left Peachings. I left Ear in the Bed. I left Bigs. You understand what we do? We is the distractors of the community. We went and built some houses that so big that we don't even see the east wing. When your child come home from school, he's getting the west wing. I think I take that every time I start. Just 10 minutes start.
Go ahead.
When you go in the east wing and you marry the west wing with your husband, you don't know get on the east wing. You know how you start your daughter on study east wing?
On the phone.
You don't call you even know. They got me tricked. So you phone the ringing and call the lady there. You hear him? You want that right now? This is no, not no way anymore. I just show you how society changed. Society changed so harsh that we are going to tell you for people like this man.
Bobby, so they introduced something called technology, but there is subliminal meaning behind the word technology. Let me break it down as syllables. We're going back to school now then. Tech, your knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. I stand for artificial intelligence.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But there's all subliminal meanings, you know. But if it's stupid, tell me it's stupid then.
I want pause there. I want
Yes, you
pause
can.
there. Just don't one
Hold
pause
the
there.
point.
Just to invite comments because I see I like look at
Eager.
that body language, right?
Yeah.
People
And
got a
I
lot
see
to say.
people are engaged. At this point in time, based on the contributions so far. Yes, please. Yeah. Oh. When you were speaking just now, you probably were a fly on the wall yesterday. You saw when we looked around at each other.
Yeah.
We had this exact conversation about pit toilets and people moving on only yesterday. And when you said 8 in the bed, we looked around because only yesterday I told there were 8 children in my family. So we were telling them how we used to sleep and you understand. Only yesterday we had that discussion in here. So when you said that just now, you see everybody was, and some of us didn't know nothing about pit toilets. So it was a, open up, right? Some of us didn't know about sharing rooms and stuff like that. So yes, that is why I spoke about. Yes, this is why I spoke about the dynamics and the very four walls in which we live.
You better borrow this one.
It influences how we not only approach the issue, how we ourselves feel when we come into contact with persons who are experiencing problematic drug use. It really is an awful disease. It really is an awful disease because it impacts every single family member. Every single person who is in that circle, it impacts. It may not impact in the same way, but believe me, it impacts.
Permit me to say, we live in now like crabs in a barrel. Well, let me tell you, when you see them get up to the top of the ladder, they just kick down the ladder, you know. Yo, you want to come out here? I kick down that ladder though. But remember, you climb the ladder and you forget how far the top is from the bottom. when they hit rock bottom, it's good night nurse. It's good night nurse.
Understand you very clear when it kind of that part.
Right.
Proceed.
Right. So I'm going to proceed. I want just we coming back to you because we want to move on to the whole issue of crime and criminal justice system and how this impacts. And you seem to be located in a particular place. And when I say located, I don't mean geographically. I mean based on your combined experiences to walk us through that in a very, very real way. So I'm going to ask you just to sit for 2 minutes.
Show me already.
Have Troy do exactly what I did just now. Do a little introduction. Speak to Troy has a background in criminal justice. So he's not criminal. When last I checked.
How is he criminal?
So we just explore that a little. And again, as you're speaking, just tell us what it is you want us to do, how we can do what we do. You mentioned something, but I want to come back to that very, very, very late. It is after this what? After this what? And the same thing that we say in school, we call PTA meetings, and the parents of the good behavior children that come to PTA meetings do, you know. So we engage that at the very end, after this what, because this is not just another talk shop. We want concrete solutions and concrete suggestions from persons like you yourself who are in the community and who know what it is to let us know how we can adjust what it is that we do.
Good evening, everyone. Good. As Betty said, I have lots of experience as it relates to the criminal justice system, drug use. Let me give a little background about myself. I was a police officer for 18 years. I worked in the narcotics division for, I can say, 17 of those 18 years. So I saw the issue of substance use and abuse from a law enforcement end, and now I'm saying it from a drug prevention end. And I think I like to call myself the drug czar in Barbados. As it relates to the criminal justice system and especially cocaine, crack cocaine use, it impacts the criminal justice system heavily. A lot of crimes are linked to what we call paroles, and use simple language now, or drug addicts. Where persons burglarize homes, a lot of thefts as it relates to tourists.
And predator.
Yes. And also assaults, woundings, even murders as it relates to drug addiction. I have seen it all. I have seen persons who have went to prison for 6 months, 2 years. And as a result, they come out, they go back in the same environment as Betty indicated, in the same communities. And they push them out, give them a free dope. As they come home, give them a free dope. And the vicious cycle continues. I remember my first case of burglary. Again, real life examples now. I was a very young detective, very impressionable. We held a man who was burglarizing a syphilitic community. And the day in question, the youngest person, he probably saw it was a soft target in the group. And he came to me crying. And he came to me, I ain't breaking the body house. I don't steal. And I taught him for about 4 hours that night. And by the end of the night, he confessed because he said the drugs was calling him. Was calling him. And as Vernon said, by any means necessary, he needed to get the money to purchase the drugs. And my engagement with several paroles and what we like to call dope holes. As my man was saying, the dope holes, you see, the young, the old, the indifferent, even the professional. I do not think that substance use or abuse or crack addiction is limited to the what we call the down-to-earth persons. There are persons who purchase crack cocaine daily and go to work and function what we call as normal persons.
And does it only on weekends?
Ferdinand, and those are real stories. And it's important for us as a community to have open and frank conversations as it relates to drug use, how to treat the persons who engage the criminal justice system. We see it as a moral failing, a criminal justice issue, but it's deeper than that. Because without help, the vicious cycle will continue. We obviously offer persons the opportunity to go to Verdant House for rehabilitation. However, when they are admitted to Verdant House, they can walk out the door at any time. Some just say yes because they don't want to go to jail. With their programs in jail are basically not adequate in some instances. And then facilities are not there to help these persons. So then we see those persons as persons that recidivists. Correct word, the recidivists. And then as a police officer, I went to so many homes. There's really family coming out. I visited so many homes as a result of persons committing crimes. Whether it be against the person, whether it's against the crown. And being a police officer, I come to my house at 3 o'clock. And I always tell persons that there's been persons at the most vulnerable state. You see all kind of things. You see people that you see walking the streets, looking all professionals, sleeping on the floor, naked. And all this is because they have a family member living in the house, hooked on a substance and committing crimes. So it's impacting them in that way. But general persons, we don't see or hear this. We see a predator in the newspaper committed 40 burglaries. Small crimes, how the criminal justice system is set up, where a magistrate can't give them more than 5 years at one given time. So he committed 45 burglaries, and when you check it, he get 3 years in jail. No help, no rehabilitation, good behavior, 18 months he back on the road to do the same things.
The cycle start again, because look, crime to stop in jail, and crime to start in jail too. Remember that one.
So it's important that, as Betty indicated, we get ideas from you, the persons who are operating on the streets, who are seeing these persons, how we can help as a community, as a group, how we can help our family members, because I'm sure that everyone in the room either have a family member, have a close friend, or raise up with someone, has a classmate. That when you see them, you're like, whoa, he's a paro, she's a paro. We see them daily. So it's important that we actually have a frank and fair conversation surrounding these issues. So the floor is open for persons to question me. Sure.
So it starts real quick. Where I thought relationship changed a lot. More aggression, more anger, more looking for money, looking to do crime, to get this thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it really changed. I tell you, start smoking crack cocaine. Yeah, alright.
But it's a bad situation, I mean. Right now my girl put me out, I live on the street. I live on the street right now. And it's hard, I try to block it out, so the boy can't really see what's going on. But I get frustrated. I study a lot of evil things now, like killing people, because it gets to me. How I feel that sometimes I feel like I deserve more. And people owe me something, I think that's not the issue.
I mean, when I was out there, nobody can carry me with that foolishness. Hitting me and all that kind of things. Nah, I was a different school of fish. I was a different school of fish, because my thing ain't begging to push them off and that, my thing is doing crime. I used to do crime to deal with my addiction.
I was not even remorseful, because I think it seemed to me like a glamorizing what it was doing, though.
No, it's important.
Really important.
The addiction was driving or propelling the motivation behind committing the crimes. And a lot of us don't understand this. And as a police officer, a former police officer, I should say, I don't understand that. I being frank and real. I don't understand that. I believe, you know what? Lock them up and throw away the key before getting them any help.
Maybe you can't throw the key just so. You got to lock the door with a bone key. And throw the bone key to the dog.
And it's
The
important
dog eat the bone. He lock in there forever.
because as several police officers don't understand addiction. When you hold a drug addict, a parole, usually you gotta give them a day or two to tow. When you bring them in police station, for some reason they go sleep, and you can't get them wake up for 2 days.
You don't call it sleep.
It was
You call it crash out.
crash out for 2 days. I don't care you shake. Don't care what you do. Don't move.
Can't move.
You will you will swear that the passed away, the died, the dead. Yeah, for 2 days, and you don't understand that. They die.
I mean, because basically, right, what a lot of people don't really observe with the drug use is that they think it's just a figurative thing. But it takes the being to a different height of illusion. So what they see and what they comprehend is beyond your observation. It takes you into a spiritual realm where you are controlled by a different entity. So it's not the crack. The crack is only the pathway. It's like walking from one end of George Street to the next end. You just have the asphalt to take you to the journey, but you need another entity to take you there. It's just that when they reach who they greet or who greet them, takes them to the level where you don't understand. So where my brother would say, crash out, that's where that entity just take rest. Only by waiting for the next stage. They can get the spark, because all it takes is the spark. No, I'm not. I was never a user, but you see the things. What I realize about humanity is that we are not just beings that physically standing. We are inhabited by a force that propels beyond the average person comprehension. But you breathe in the same force that you existentially need in order to move. But the crowd just use the same energy and manipulate it for its benefit. But that's an energy by itself, that's a force entity by itself.
And the entity is there, you know.
Always there, don't go away.
Listen, I had a big one. And the entity said, yo, who you think you is doing? I grabbed me one way there. And they started to holler. I'm all look down from upstairs and down my gates, John. I look down and said, yeah. They got you there. They got you there.
Yeah.
Evil spirits got you there. Listen, I come face to face with them, boy.
Exactly.
I come face to face with them, yeah.
Well, you see, the thing is about it, many may listen to your story and don't really understand or comprehend what you're really dealing with or what you experience. They may say, okay, it sounds like, my brother said, narrating like a movie. It sounds like a matrix, something like you watch on TV. But really and truly, if the average person really step into the comprehension, they would get up and run and left themselves. I'm telling you, I mean, everybody in here would just get up and run up themselves.
I see man get those rig and take off the clothes and run.
And that's scratching the surface.
Take off the clothes and run.
They hear the scratching the surface.
And all these antics.
Humanity is, we are a supreme source of entertainment to the wrong people and to the wrong thing. You know, we talk about playing puppet at the clown show. You don't want to get dangled. You know, I mean, as an officer, as an ex-officer, as you explain, you know, you get a part of your history. You just see certain things, but there's some real bad things. But the drug seller now is never a character by himself because he doesn't have emotions. No. And that is his purpose. In order to facilitate the demon, he can't care about you.
He can't carry emotions.
He can't carry emotions. He can't got feelings and sorry. And as the brother describes, he have a family. No, that's one of the stages of responsibility that is grab the push in my head. If you care about family, well, family come first. Whatever means, he's going to get what he needs to take care of the family. But at the end of the day, he's still destroying the family. But he doesn't care about that. He care about his family. But until the crack come home, is a different story. Because the thing is about it, his family consume too. Eat, drink, walk, talk, and then have a friend that have a friend that have a friend that have a friend. And there's so many ways of getting crack into somebody's body. Beyond, I mean, as simple as it's even a bottle of water. I don't have to open it in, but for sure when it's done, you'll be addicted to something that you never see. Just by giving it to you. And that's why a lot of people get hooked. Because science ain't nothing new. It just get, what they say, more available to the wise man. And they say modified. But modifications, just picture. We consider this to be a new era where technology is more prevalent. But 10,000 years ago, people getting high.
It's true.
You understand? There wasn't no TVs, no VCRs, no cell phone, no internet. You understand? But people still getting high and getting hooked and doing the same things. This is a cycle. Let somebody else have a seat.
I just wanted to interject. You have a comment to make. I know when we started, I identified that when we watched the film, that we pulled out these 3 topics. But we also discussed among ourselves that is from our standpoint.
Correct.
Tonight is opening a doorway, for me at least, I don't know for how many other people. And it is touching on something that I think that we dance around a lot. And this is this whole issue of spirituality, right? And how we exist in the world and energy. I know, I say one of my siblings are here. When we were small, we had several experiences that we still cannot explain. Several that we still cannot explain. Lost domino. Remember that, Sandra? Being at home, I remember being at home at night, and at that time, our dad asked us to leave the house because there were just sounds like rocks raining on the house, and he brought the neighbors from next door, the main, and they went through that house. Couldn't tell you why, but just it sounded like just rocks. We had just gone home from church because that was a big part of our life growing up. Church and school, church and school, church and school. But for me, being here at the NCSA and hearing some conversations and stuff, it really opens your eyes and your whole being to this thing called spirituality. And the role of not religion as we know it, but the role of, hi, this is your daughter, good, hi, thank you for being here, yes, and the role of spirituality in the things that we do. And we have these conversations a lot in the office about where we are. I want to be really careful where we are as a country, and this whole impact of spirituality and how we have found ourselves where we are and why. I'm going to stop here because there was a request for the microphone from the floor, so I'm going to do that now right here. And then I'm going to ask you to jump in with the conversation, and then after you, Verdon again.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I listened to you intently. To know is half the problem. To know is half the answer. And yes, when we're dealing with drugs, we're dealing with the spiritual world and we're dealing with the natural world. So that's one huge thing that we have to understand. The other huge thing, which is not really nice and politically correct, is that we have to start a new conversation and expose the whole thing. Because Chef said it in the documentary, it's bigger than us, you know. It's not Barbados, it's what's going on in the world, and that is where the spiritual part comes in as well. And here in Barbados, we heard it on the documentary, and well because of my background, I also know it, that there are people, very respectable people, we think they are respectable, but they are a huge part of these drugs. So the problem ain't Bruce and Susan and Umzi, the problem is these big people who getting off so easy, and we are focusing on the people whose lives have been destroyed. I think one of the things we have to do in Barbados is just turn it around and begin to expose and begin to say, you know, in a sensitive way perhaps, but just like Verdun said, there are people, big up people, who are a huge part of this, and let that be a part of the conversation. The other, I know, hold on, before you say it won't work, because true, it will be very difficult to work. But I feel you have to have a comprehensive approach to this whole thing and build up a counter pressure, as it were. There were some things said in the documentary, and I was taking them down as I went along. You heard Umzi say it, and you said it too, that this is madness, because you never get that high again. And Bruce said it, that he never got involved in crime until he started taking drugs. So if you leverage this with the pictures of the folk and the little lines from them, and somehow build up a counter pressure, because it's a huge fight. Like Chef said, that's bigger than you and me. But we can still do something. And I believe in God, and I believe that God can do something through us. So it's just a matter of being brave enough, like you were brave enough to produce this, being brave enough to tell the truth about drugs. And the truth is that there are people at all levels of this society who are involved and who are making big bucks and destroying lives.
As you were speaking, there was a rebuttal coming from here, and from here I'm going to let you go last. So quickly, your rebuttal.
Well, let me start in the midway. Conscience. Because if we go into conscientiousness, now it'll be a different degree. So let me scratch it in the middle. You first got to look at self before one could do any addressing and any changes. You talk about law and governance and all these different things, but the body is a group of individuals. And each individual have their own conscience. Now, if you know yourself, then you should know what you expect from someone else. But who tell you that the next person beside you got the same opinion? That's where the challenge start. The challenge start with self. And it even start with self as the one who want to implement the rule, or the law, or the strategy of governance. It starts with them. Because the pusherman that they tell you have an agenda. But the agenda of the user is not his. The agenda of the user is the demon. The demon that you don't see, and Christianity ain't gonna show you it. It sounds like a hard thing to say. Yes, I'm being real with you. The Christianity and the God that you're calling on is the same God that's supporting it. It sounds cruel. It sounds bad. It sounds, as you say, evil. But you don't know who's Nakash. You don't know who's Beelzebub. You don't know. See, you're going up in here because of a strange name, but you talk about the same person.
You know who's Levitan?
Exactly. You don't know these entities. They come in, they have different shades. You see, you have one on the shirt and have polka dots and jean pants. That's different colors, right? Good. And they go home one with different colors too.
She know they got shapes, sisters, okay?
But she don't believe in them things.
Okay, so
It's a reality, my dear. It's a reality.
all right, so
It's not an assumption. Okay, my lady here
Just
saying an
hold.
assumption, but what I'm saying, my lady here saying that I'm making assumptions, right? I can't say that thing, but I say it because I know for a fact Christianity do not offer you that information. No, it don't.
can we hold a minute? Yeah, can we hold a
The reason
minute?
why.
Can we hold a
That's what I'm
minute?
saying.
Just hold a
you want to
minute.
be aware of these things to come about to get the solution. That's the reason why you went that path.
That's what we're driving at.
Okay, so just hold a minute, because we have two, or some new views that are being put on the floor. As we said at the beginning, we're going to welcome all views. You are going to have a different view than you, and we are all here to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Of
So
course,
we-
of course,
so
of course.
as,
That's why I share my view, because
correct.
I realize that
Appreciate that.
nobody's really coming in or
But hold
recognizing
on, right? Because perhaps
the reality of spirituality.
let me put a difference. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you think perhaps that when I say we on a wider scale are not yet ready or prepared for that conversation, and
But-
perhaps we can reconvene to have a conversation more around what different aspects and different interpretations of spirituality?
Okay.
Right?
Or
We're looking for solutions.
I am understanding you. I understand that.
well,
right?
let me ask you.
So-
Let me get
okay.
your concept. Can you tell me, or could you repeat for me? Quite came late, obviously. What is your bulletin point ideas?
Oh, my bulletin point ideas, and this is just coming out of the movie. There were three, the documentary, keep
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
movie.
But,
There
yeah,
were
I
three
understand.
things that everyone that contributed to that movie mentioned. Impact on family.
Yes.
Whether how they were treated by the family or how they treated their family as a result of drug use.
Okay, and the next one.
How they got into contact with the criminal justice system and how it impacted on people around them. And the third one was really to, and I don't see, we were supposed to have a representative from Verdon House here, to walk people through this business of the road to recovery, because so often we think that you go to a Verdon, may not be a Verdon, you go through and it is a one and done. And it
Okay.
isn't. It is a struggle like what you were saying, you know. And a lot of times, I think what happens is, we're a small country, resources are very limited. When resources are very limited, and I dare say, in a forum like this, let me not say that in a forum like this. So let me say, in other countries, in other countries, and one of the things, how we keep abreast of what is happening is that as often as possible, we let staff travel to conferences, right? But it's not only the aftercare. What I'm about to say is, this whole business of spirituality is not a by the way. In bigger countries, it is something that is deliberately woven into the treatment and rehabilitation system. And so they have a different understanding because, of course, they're more multicultural than we are. The history is longer. So the things that you are saying make sense because they have already been exposed and they make provisions for persons of different spiritual backgrounds, different views, and it is not, and for them it's not eye-opening. And all of these are incorporated on the journey to recovery. It's not a one and done. So I think when I say let's have a different discussion on that, what we know is that early next year, next month, actually December, right? We're actually having a conversation about faith-based interventions, you know. I didn't say faith-based, I didn't say Christian interventions, I said faith-based interventions.
This is Christianity.
Right? No. This is from different faiths. It's open to different faiths.
Oh, faiths.
Faiths.
Oh,
Faiths.
okay.
It is open to different
You mean
faiths.
different religious?
Yes,
Okay.
actually it is
Right,
being
okay.
piloted in Barbados. It is something that has been launched in Latin America and in certain parts of Europe, and we're excited that it is coming to Barbados. What it will do is start this type of conversation.
Okay.
Because I think we are at the stage where, for want of a better expression, we gotta try whatever it is. I get really disheartened every time you open the paper. There's a different a different face of a different young male, right? And I get really disheartened because it seems as if we just spinning top in mud. But we also recognize, so then we recognize that what we have, we need to address it, and we need to address it squarely. But we need to address it with the resources, let me say, that are given to us. Let me say that are given to us. And sometimes that is very, very limited. So I am glad that we are having a wider conversation now to include this whole aspect of spirituality, to hear from different denominations how they view this business called spirituality as it relates. When I say this business, that's just an expression. This business called spirituality as it relates to drug use, right? So it is not that it is being dismissed or anything. It's just that there are different views, and not just that, because I don't want to minimalize anybody's religious persuasion or views. But we must be open now to hear different things. What people like you, though, I am asking you to do is be patient with some of us who, for the first time, we're hearing there's another way, though.
But-
Have you thought of it like these are the questions you're asking yourself as you sit here. Have we thought of it like this? Maybe this is what works.
I'm just surprised that you're saying that, because my view of Barbados, I'm a Barbadian, in case anybody may be curious. I'm born in Barbados. That Barbados doesn't have some kind of knowledge of spirituality. Because for my knowing of Barbados, we do. It's just that maybe in certain circles don't. But Barbados is a very spiritual land. And historically, is deep in spirituality. It's just that a lot of people turn their blind eye to it.
And it's just laying dormant.
Exactly.
What we will try to do in the ACSA, and this is one of the things that I know has come out of this discussion, and it is something that I will pursue because I asked for solutions and the way forward, is to really look to see how different faiths or different aspects of spirituality impact on what we do and how we infuse that in our programming. And it is something that we, yes, please, I'm seeing your hands. It is something that, at the back of the room, Carol, it is something that we really have to look at in a serious way and not just as window dressing, right? So I am glad that the conversation, that it was raised, and I'm going to put it down here as soon as I put down my mic, as something that we really have to look at, and look at in a deliberate way, not just a by the way.
I mentioned the decline religious, listening and living part, I realize they just push on outside and not really realize that it's a reality. Because it's not joke. Every people really get to really understand, overstand, see the clarity. All the human, all the other concepts would never work. That would be perpetuated, sir. And it's not barbaric, it's planetary.
Understood.
It's a deliberate thing. It's deliberate, not by the person, by its system. It's systematically deliberate. Because it's not for us.
It's all about colony population too.
I didn't want to jump that far.
Well, I jumping.
Exactly.
Because the cat, listen, the security here, the cat doesn't do. If the cat doesn't jump the fence, the cat doesn't know what's going on over the other side of the fence.
All right. So let's get this other view first.
Hi.
Cover again.
Me again.
Cover again.
Yes.
I can ask some strange questions. I would say that if we had 20 teenagers in here, would we really get on our line with this discussion? How they going to understand that I want to tell them? This gathering tonight supposed to find solutions. As you just said, we got solutions for different levels. When you got stairs all out there, that boy down there understand that I want to know how 20 teenagers got through the other P, got to talk to the phone, call them on here. I want to hear what the solutions we can deal with, how we can get this to market, this to people, the young people. I live in the ghetto, and they got parents that's 12. Want to see that? Want to see these pretty ones?
I totally agree.
Want to see these ones? I live in the whole whole side of me, man. One up on the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. I hear say I don't hear about Christ and God and all kind of thing. Let me tell you what I'm saying, man. Right when I got my head scrambled, and I was 16. When I came out of 16s and 80s, and here when I got the leg down. Because what is the solution? What's the plan? Do I call out a movie, or you ain't get problems? That's a documentary. That's a teaching tool. This is an example, and I want you put in bold. This is an example of what's going on in Barbados. The church, Lord help me out here with this one. The church don't pay attention to this. Because everybody watches here, malicious news. Yeah, why you know he? Yeah, but I money paper. And I tell you the truth though, because when I come back and explore here, but I can't hear not going to work to kind of see serious discussion of what it's about. All the fine praises give here, look sweet, do good, but what's going on there? This is what we going to deal with. And if we had to sit down and calculate the number of paroles or pregnancies we got in Barbados, what the can't hold here.
It's true.
We got to make garrison.
And it getting worse.
And it get worse because here's what's going on. I come as a youth saying paroles and pregnancies at 45 and 30. I see them at 16 and 12.
16 and 12.
Yeah.
We in trouble, B.
It's true.
Deep
We
trouble.
are in crisis and we are playing with this. This is not a joke. I can't hear laughing about no.
It's true.
I kind of hear or make an input
Sure it.
in the development or how we can save these people's lives. When I don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Get down the gap, but you can come more than 6 before you get on with that start. Like, how we can get these people to confirm? We see at the brother house and what happened. We can walk back out and do the same
Correct.
thing.
Same thing.
My parole friend will get 16 stabs all in teeth. I didn't even take the man money though. And I hear saying, no, listen to this pretty story. But it's hurting me. And I'm a parole. I got parole friends.
Sure it.
The man will call your hospital with 16 stabs done.
That's the question we got to deal
Why hit
with.
me?
Oh, but what about the suppliers?
But you can't get rid of suppliers. I know here in the city, high echelon life. We locking up men for guns. And they got a passport. How they get through the airport? We locking up men for dope. They never got any card. Somebody got beginning that got these things. But we are
It's
checking
true.
them people.
So wait.
So they there with suppliers.
So wait. So when a man get catch in jail smoking a spliff, he just got to get and tell the world, look, I got home.
But that's the same thing. The jail world is jail like this world. The jail world, a man don't left jail and can always start point and get water. He gonna get in there. I don't write a piece. I win every award in Barbados. 2014 in the jail story, the reflections. I don't do it in town field in the ceremony. Jail don't play, and jail is sweet. Just do your time and count. Don't care how your time do. So somebody gonna check the airfare. We don't check the man in khaki. He's deep with the man in blue because he gonna go in there and we lock in there. You see man in khaki, he's catching bus and go home. He just see everybody besides that man. That man see 1,800 men there. That's who live there. So the world we live in right now, it is very unfair, and poverty is one key and the #1 components to causing drug use in Barbados.
Well, as long as it's haves or has not in any society,
But you understand
it's got to be
that?
crime.
And the man now get hit dope, because the big boys don't hit dope. Big boys just hit cocaine or crack. They go and you name it there. Usually don't get on. The name it there big. Downstairs is dope. Upstairs is cocaine or crack.
Right.
Methylene. Oh, they got big names to be there.
Right.
Because these youths know that about that. You understand me? I see youths now getting introduced to cocaine and Barbados after hitting mollies and all that kind of foolish things to get this high. And you know I get this high twice. What you hear you say? You just get this high once though. So what the hell are you be going back doing this over and over and creating a problem?
Madness.
It becomes a public nuisance. And they be blaming everybody. We gotta blame ourselves though, Dan. You just got a family and your family don't care for you take the jail for you. How you get feed?
But when you come to that point there now, right? It's a vast comparison. But if a white man child smoking dope and a black person child smoking dope is a vast comparison between the parental guidance there, you know. Because the black people is that look, you go for run me your power. There's one mother can tell the child, you know.
Yes, sir.
But what's what the white people gonna do? They gonna embrace you.
Yes, they will.
And they can do something
They gotta be able-
profitable to do in Barbados society.
But that with that poverty is what causes me biggest problem.
Wait a minute. So I haven't foresight that poverty is behind it. Listen, I tell you already, and I will tell you again. Opportunity is a scarce commodity.
Understand?
So as long as it has not in any given society, it got to be crime.
Understand?
Well, crime
All
is
in one order today.
a machine, you know.
I agree.
Because
All they
it's
want
a
was
money
this.
making machine.
When we left this office here, when you call it, these mature people, everybody here is over 25.
Not me.
You say,
Oh.
everybody is over the age of child life. We call it TD, don't worry about it.
Right.
But I'm just saying that if we had these youths sitting here, how we get attract youths to hear this? I went to school to do a piece one time, you can't do that, boy. I always talk about jail. Reflections, I was just saying, left with the guns, left with the drugs. There's no more space in the world for fools. Because ever see the fool space in the country or the world, all the fools kill the water. Because they're too close. They can't breathe. You hear anybody that's 50 get shoot dead? Or 40? Well, that means the sensible people. But the fool space so full, they're going to kill some of them. So they can kill one another to live. That's all it is. They make it very easy to understand. But I want to know where are we going with this? How are we going with it? What's the direction? What's the passion that we carry with this if we can find a solution?
Right. So we may have an answer. There's a request for the mic. Wait a minute. Yeah. There's a request for the mic in the back first, and then we do you, Chantal.
Hi.
Yes,
So my thoughts on,
up.
hi, good night everyone, my name is Casey. My thoughts on if there will be a solution, my thought process is no. Why my thought process is no is because from the jump, you're already stating you're having not enough funding or resources. There's a reason that the government is not doing that. Don't you think that the reason is they don't want a solution? They want persons to continue down this road. They want persons to be at the bottom of the scale while they are continuing to profit off of these people. So that's my thought process there.
Talk, Mrs. Speaker. Talk the turn.
One more comment before we come back.
Hey, so as I was listening, I don't know your name, sir, but as I was listening, Skillet. As I was listening to Skillet, and he was saying, what is the solution? What are we going to do? One of the things that came to my mind, because I don't have a perfect solution, let me start with that. And I think that part of the problem that many of us don't have a perfect solution is because we're not in the situations. A lot of us come to these things with our middle class mentalities, mindsets, realities, and we try to come up with middle class solutions for people that ain't dealing with things the way that we are dealing with them. So I think that one of the best ways to start to reach the young people is to listen to the young people. The same way we listened to these people in this documentary, we gave them space. We didn't come and like, oh, so drugs is this and the little, and talk, and bring all the statistics. When I did this documentary, I shut my mouth and I listened. I asked a few questions and I shut my mouth until Verda finished talking, and then I asked the next question. I didn't come shooting things at them. I closed my mouth and I opened my ears. And I think that if we start to listen to the young people, they will start to give us the solutions as to how to help them. One of the things that came across me recently, a friend of mine, he's a teacher at a secondary school with a lot of high-risk children. He, again, middle-class person with his middle-class ideas and middle-class solutions, thought, oh, I am taking these children to prison because I am going to show them the reality so that hopefully they don't make the decisions to end up there. This thing backfire so serious. It backfire because from the time they heard about it, they're excited because I can get to see my cousin and see my next door neighbor, I can see my brother. They're excited because there's a reunion. Right? Then they sat down and the prisoners spoke to them and the children were very engaged. They asked questions. They said, so what one of us get to eat in here? And the prisoner said, rice and sardines. I honestly think the prisoner was just trying to make it so unappealing, and the kids were excited. They're like, what, you get rice and sardines every day? Because these are children who are not getting fed. So take one for prison. I get him food. Take two, actually. I get to see friends and family, and I get him food. Then they asked, so you got your own bed? And the guys said, yeah, we get a small cot. More excitement in the room. You got your own space then, you got your own bed. These kids were excited because they had a space to sleep. Because they come from families, they come from households, where it's 12 people in one room, they don't have no bed, they don't have any space. So prison is now more appealing to them because they will have a bed, they will have food, and they can see friends and family. The only thing that was looking like it was going to be a deterrent to the guys is if they were going to get the trouble, right? So when they asked that, and the guy said, no, that doesn't really happen, prison was a good option. And I think in that, we learn a lot. We learn simple things like people need food, people need space, people need security, that the whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They need the basic things to start with. If they don't have those basic things, they don't have the thoughts to actualize and thinking, oh, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. Nah, I want to achieve the rice and sardines that is getting prison.
So you're saying in a nutshell then that we need the village back together.
We need the village back together, and we need to listen. That's where, if I had to give a starting point, yeah, my starting point would be stop talking and listen. Get groups of young people together, get the high-risk kids together, and listen to what they're saying, and let them give us the solutions.
Chantal,
Yes, please.
let me say something. Just like Skillet, I grew up in the ghetto. I was a police, and now I'm here at the NCSA. It's easy to say, let's get the community back together. But the village community don't exist anymore. And it will not, we will never ever get back there. I'm speaking frank now. When you go in those ghettos where persons are selling dope, persons selling weed, persons selling money, it's a matter of survival. And those persons' children are being socialized to be criminals, whether you like it or not. So when, like Chantal said, they're in a bed, in some instances, a one bed and 40 people, no water, no bathroom. So then when you decide that you're going to be harsh with that same young person and put them in jail or whatever, or I harden to those things. You can't punish me. I'm so serious. You can't punish them. You can, they're already inculcated to hard life. And I say today, I have seen it. I say every day. So it's one thing, we're looking for solutions. And it's okay to want to listen. But like Vernon or any addict, you gotta want help. And you gotta identify you have a challenge. And if my norm is to sell weed or to sell dope or to gamble or to drink every day, and they say having it every day, it's difficult to accept. It's wrong. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Exactly.
We have to first understand their mentality before we could decide, okay, so how am I not going to approach you based on the fact that this is your mentality? What is the strategy that I'm going to create now to effectively approach you and meet you where you're at?
I can answer
Hold a
question.
minute, Troy. Hold a minute. Troy, just hold a minute. Just hold a minute. We have another comment from the floor. You can use that mic. Yeah.
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Carrie.
Hi.
I think firstly, you did a beautiful job. job because, like you said, you use silence as a tool, which is beautiful, and it allowed people to say what they needed to say. Sorry, and it allowed them to say what they needed to say, which is often overlooked. And so that was beautiful. Also, congratulations on your recovery journey. It's forever, and I know that. So, congratulations. I think the biggest thing, though, is granted I have a different sort of world view, and I also come from a place where we have been battling the same thing forever, and you're never going to find a solution, sort of a one and done sort of thing. It's always going to be a case of pivoting and adjusting, always. I like that you brought up the fact that they're bringing spirituality into all of the sort of treatment ideas, because I come from wilderness-based treatment, which also has a huge spirituality component. But also, I worked a lot with indigenous cultures where it's all spiritually based. And so it has to be there. And it's not Christianity, it's not organized religion, it's none of those things. It's spirituality at its base form, whatever that looks like to whoever is engaging in it. I think the other thing too is, you're right about the children, because I have spent the last 5 years watching children die, die, all of them, just like you, and you have a whole generation of young men who are dying. We also have a whole generation of teenagers who are dying because of meth and opiates and all of the things. So it's still hard to, but you do have to listen. You're right, you do have to listen. They are the professional of their lives. They're the ones that know. But there's root causes for substance abuse, always. And the root causes, poverty is one of them. Trauma is one of them. It's the biggest one. So you have generations of people running around this world who are living in fight or flight. And we all know if you break the brain down into its most basic components, this part you can't access. If you're stuck in your limbic system, this doesn't exist. It also doesn't exist for 14 and 15-year-olds because it's not developed yet. And so we have such high expectations of these teenagers when we shouldn't, because they're not capable. And so I wish I could come here and be like, yeah, I come from Canada, we got this licked. Oh God, we don't. We don't. And it's the criminal justice component. I also just came from running a youth justice, like an open custody facility. And I'm telling you, it's almost everything is addiction-based. All of the crimes committed. I mean, I dealt mostly with category 1, so, but yeah, almost everything. Addiction-based, everything. You think about just the populations overrepresented in the child welfare system because their parents have addiction issues. Yeah, it's neglect. It's rarely the old school sort of abuse that people used to think of, and that's why, no, it's not that. It's the same also with the adults in jail. So everything now is addiction-based, everything. And you can't escape it. I come from a middle-class family, and higher education was an expectation, it wasn't a choice. And so we all went on to college and university, and my kids did the same thing. But every generation is hit by addiction, every single one of them. I lost a sister 2 years ago. I probably will lose another one. I've accepted the fact that we will lose her. That's just a given. And so you're right, it does hit every socioeconomic level, but it looks different. Absolutely, you're right when you say it looks different, because they were still able to function largely. They could access a lot of resources that made them look perfectly normal and like they had it all and they were doing it, whereas other people couldn't. So yeah, I wish there was some kind of solution. I think these talks, though, are hugely important because you're spreading education. which is your biggest weapon. And so keep walking the good walk. That's all I have to say.
So I want to thank you for that intervention. I thought I saw another intervention. And I want to start where you finish, and that is one of the solutions that is clear to me sitting here is constant education and re-education, because every time we interact with different audiences, we learn something new. We get a different perspective. And certainly that is one of the things that I am taking away tonight, a different perspective on how we do things differently. What I'd like to ask the members of the audience is to just pause for a moment, and then don't all at once. If you were sitting in the chair that I am sitting as manager of the NCSA, as a team member of the NCSA, what is the one thing that you would like to see implemented at this point in time? Shh. Shh. Just think about it. Before you go, what you want to see implemented, you don't snuck away. This like when you're taking out the offering at church, and as soon as you say, let us pray, the party got out for leaving offering. What's your offering? Go ahead. Got you. You on. Yes. Go ahead. Because you sat through quite a lot. It doesn't have to be something elaborate. As you heard the different views expressed, as you live in this particular society, what it is you think that you would really like to see implemented?
Well, for me, I would appreciate going into the homes. I'm a psychiatric nurse. I'm also a counseling psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I really would like to see, persons go into the homes and reaching the parents, not only the children, but reaching the parents. Because in my profession, as a psychiatric nurse, we do get the young persons, on the marijuana, who they believe that, it's a meditation way of life, a relaxation thing. They don't see it to be any issue. And when a lot of them do have that one smoke and first smoke, it takes them to a level where they're unable to return. They never reach that 100% again, right? And it is very hard on the family. So reaching out to the family, going into the community, and reaching out to the family at the core of where it all began and where it continues to spread its ugly head in our society. That is where I will expect that, the NCSA will try to at least reach out, right, within the community, from the parents' perspective, to find out what's going on there, because they're to have their own trauma that they're dealing with. And, becoming pregnant at a young age and unable to deal with their own trauma, to then able to look after a child and still battling their trauma is very hard. So trying to heal them first, heal the core, heal the root. If you don't heal the root, the plant will not grow the way it's supposed to. It will always wither. So try to heal the root and help the parents to help their children.
Okay, thank you, offering taken. So, yes, good. Thank you for coming. Right. So now we've had a moment to reflect. Are there any other solutions? Yes, sir. 1, 2. Okay, so let's go. You're on. Yes.
I'm just the solution part, though. That do what talking about all the other things. I will ask that ACSA after this project, because people in Barbados, especially, like to see things. When they see tangible things, kids get money. The no bill, I see the citizens' home. The no bill, a fire station. They don't build some police stations. They build a big sweet jail. They fix doors. I wonder if we can build a village that we talking about for at least 200 people to live in. Because rehabilitation can't happen in 6 months, 4 months, no, 5 months, not a year. That's an ongoing process. And today I asking you to go to the governments and tell them this what you want. Don't let people give you things no more. I give you that.
Okay, sir.
This is direct talk. I don't make sports. I give you that. You see what's going on. Now this is what I want. If I ain't got the tools to help rebuild the nation when it comes to these people, we can't do nothing about it. We can sit and do this again. Again and again. So all I ask, a village that could hold 200, we can't live around the house and walking out. You can't walk out of there. When you pass through the process and you get yourself clean, we gotta learn saying, we find a job for you, but you can't back there. And that is that every Saturday morning you gotta light up your hospital, be tested to see if you hit a door up. And then we will put you on some serious measures if you hit a door up in between there or smoke a spliff. We know the deal, you know. But we want you the chance that you're asking for. And if you don't get the chance that you're asking for, we getting back there. So that's all I ask you to put in your place to find a solution. You only want a village? You don't want to look, they got COVID there. Borrow some of them money. The Chinese building everything but Barbados. Get some of them. You want to say what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
That must get jail. I make gardens look sweet. Make the gardens in your village look sweet. Make your yard look sweet that where you live. Take care of yourself, take care of your thing. But we gotta help the people. If we can help, I think that's a good way to help. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I got to go.
So your comment is well noted, and I'm so happy that the chairman is here. So happy. So he will take the message back to our board of directors. And and then, right. So, Chair. But it is noted. In other countries, there are those types of residential communities, long-term, because you're right. This thing about getting back on your feet, and it doesn't have to be drug addiction. Some people that's life. When life begins to life is life. But with respect to drug addiction, there are residential communities like what you speak of that start at the bottom and they go right through. And it doesn't stop the day you say, I feel good. You go and they hold you until you prove, until it is noted that you can function outside of that community. So it is a thought. Yeah. It is true. It is noted. Yeah, and that is one of the things of living in a small society. But it is noted.
When I go back home, they're doing the same thing. I can't visit the court system. You know, that we should go up to the paramilitary for these. Get a survey that can learn saying, build the self, they go see home. You come from jail after 6 months, 2 years, you go in there, get in jail, back in there. They can see a man and get out, back come in here. Let me get control of it. That's what we want.
Noted. And as I always say, as long as there's life there, so nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. So that is noted as well. One more, hold on, we're waiting on the mic. There you go.
Sorry, to piggyback on Skillet's point, right? I'm thinking too that when you build this community, we could also sell it to the government and the board and that kind of stuff. And we could say that all of this could help to build and generate economic activity. So whether they are doing things like growing crops or what have you, just anything to deal with even exporting to the region and international. So I just thinking about it like that. So generating economic activity, because we gotta be able to sell it and you gotta be able to justify why you need the resources, right?
Noted.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Everything they can do there. Carpentry.
Exactly.
Mechanics.
Exactly.
Painting, drawing.
Right.
The whole work. So it's a natural, like a nation within a nation.
All right.
They tell you one solution.
Noted.
That way you can get the spirituality and everything can come in and do everything right on the spot.
Verdun has, I'm going to ask him to comment at this point in time.
When it was a Verdun house, as a client, this was my punchline. Verdun at Verdun. VRDON is my name, and VRDUN is the name of the facility. At Verdun House, they had a structured program as similar as to what Skillet was talking about there just now, you know. That we used to sell produce. They raise ducks, they raise chickens, they raise sheep, they raise goat, they raise pig at Verdun House. But I don't know, somehow the program dropped through. Because it don't exist anymore. And Verdun House, I did some inquiry here lately, and Verdun House is not the Verdun House that I knew when I went there. A lot of things have changed. Well, Mr. Pooler now resigned. Mr. Pooler now resigned, and I think that's what got the place for the downward trend at present. But we still got a top philanthropist here in Barbados by a man called Peter Booth. Peter Booth still affiliated with Verdun. And I think that they were revamping though. It needs it needs a vigorous revamping up in there though. Because a lot of the counselors that really paid interest in the clients isn't there any longer. So that's my input.
I have a signal from the back that our time is almost up. I really came with a different expectation. I'm so happy I was here. I've learned so much tonight. And I think not only learning, you feel the heart of people. And the heart is that we want to change. That you're frustrated in seeing so many young lives lost. And we're tired of doing the same old, and ending up in the same old space. The other point that was raised is that we need to do it in a coordinated way. After we do all of this listening, what then? What then? And the what then can only come off the page if you have a coordinated strategy in place.
Team effort.
Dealing with different people at different levels, different interventions tailored for the different types of audiences that you will meet. And so somebody asked if this is the first of these sessions or if we will go on. Yes, we will go on. Yes, we will go on. We hope to be able to find the funding to do perhaps not the same thing, but explore different areas of this thing called drug addiction and drug use. What is driving it? What are some of the other outcomes? Because this is visible. You use drugs, it destroys your health, it impacts, but there are other hidden things that perhaps we need to explore and have just come to light, and we are beginning to appreciate it more, perhaps because there's access to a lot of education now that we didn't have previously. A lot of access now is open, a lot of access to information, good, bad, and indifferent. So we now have to parse through what is right and what fits our reality, not because it is happening next door or in North America or in Europe that we can bring it wholesale and implement it here, but that calls for a lot of hard work at the ground level. So that once you build a foundation right, the house will most certainly go up right. And I think we need to be, somebody mention it, pivot, be able to pivot. I think one of the issues we found, and we find, and it's not only here, is that when we conceptualize strategies as a 5-year strategy, a 3-year strategy, and then somehow when you want to shift in the middle of that strategy because your reality has changed, the message is that you don't know what you're doing. And that is not necessarily true. A lot of times it is not true. It is that the issue of drug use is too dynamic to stick slavishly to a 3 or 5 year strategy. So you put your strategy in place as a best a best outcome, best practice outcome. But understand that you're dealing with individuals, you're dealing with world economics that impact your situation, you're dealing with other social factors, so you have to be able to pivot and you have to be flexible enough to pivot. And so one of our challenges is to make policymakers understand that this is something that is dynamic. It cannot be measured in the same way that we can measure brick upon brick upon brick of a four-corner building. It just cannot be. So when we're asked to show results, sometimes it is hard to say, I saved 20 people in the way that you can count 20 souls that went to prison though. Right? Because the journey to recovery and relapse, it goes over and it goes over. And for some fortunate persons, it's a one and done. But that is not how it looks a lot of the time. So at this point, I see the wrap up. I want to, at this point though, really say thanks again to the team that I work with. Because time and time again, they go above and beyond the call of duty with scarce and limited resources to ensure that somebody new hears our message. And I want to recognize that tonight. I want to recognize the board for allowing us a lot of the times to implement the programs as we see them on the ground. It is again, it says all well and good to say, oh, that agency is doing this, but when we go out and we hear from our younger folk especially, you got to come back and do something really, really quick in-house to take back out there. And it is not that you're doing it helter-skelter, but it's just the reality. And you're doing it with limited resources. Recognizing, yes, there are limited resources, but you have to do what you have to do. And so this is the first of these meetings. I have here as solutions that as we go forward, we take a deliberate look at how spirituality impacts on what we do and on responses to drug use. That we look more closely, and this is something we had looked at before, actually getting up and going into family type situations. We do have parenting sessions and we do that online, but perhaps we need to see how we can get our boots on the ground and go out and see what's happening. Just a caution to that. And it's not an excuse. The program officers at the NCSA are 4, and there are 4 females. So when we speak about going out, understand with the environment we're living in today, we have to, I have to bear that in mind.
4 females.
Right? So something like this that is safe, but it requires people getting up and getting dressed and coming out. We would need to be out in the community some more, but you're out in the community and you're reading what's happening in the community. So all of these impact on how we conduct our programming. The other big ask, and this is something I know Shahla and I have been speaking about for a while, is this whole business of a residential community, a space that is not, you have gone afoul of the laws, so there's only one path for you. Some middle ground, either before you get there or after you get there, before you go back into society, especially for our younger folk. And there is not that exists now. I often say, I think if all adults in Barbados had one opportunity to sit in one session of juvenile court, we would all come away changed human beings. Very changed. If the session tonight was impactful and it moved you, I am sure sitting in juvenile court, just one session, will cause you to rethink everything you thought about what a sorry situation you are in. Because you're in a sorry situation, but you're an adult. But these are children that don't have the mental capacity to deal with a lot of the things that they have to experience. And somehow they make not the correct choices at the correct times. And so it calls for a coordinated approach. And so going forward, as we do our programming, I will certainly, Troy is really in charge of day-to-day programming. I'm glad, I know we joked at that, but I'm glad that we have the board chairman here so that he can hear firsthand from you and from you who took the time to come out. We certainly will be engaging some more with members of the audience once you do not mind. And I encourage you to follow us as we go yet again in another community to see how we can get some other views and see how we can incorporate that in our programming going forward. It won't change overnight. It won't change overnight. But if we can move the needle just a little right in the space where we are, collectively it will change. Collectively it will change. I'm going to give the last word, one of the last words to Vernon, and then Troy, you can wrap up and give our little vote of thanks.
All we could do is say, I compliment everyone that contributed to the to this discussion tonight. And from here onward, what we could look to do is advance skillfully on correcting this problem and this scourge. Because they call it a scourge. It is a scourge, and a serious scourge too. But it calls for organizing. We gotta go from the back burner now and organize and come again. You gotta come again. Because currently saying, we wait till the horse get out the stable, then they shut the door back. Go up and lost. We can regain our footage on it. Barbados, I born here. So I would do anything to see here upon the right footing again. At 65, I still feel that the entities and Mother Nature will give me the strength and the courage to push through. But the heart still, the heart still pumping. Anyhow, folks, when you leave here and you can't get home safely get home.
I like it. Thank you. Good night. I want to start by thanking Chantal from Planet Production for assisting us, the NCSA, or working with us continuously to produce beautiful documentaries, PSAs, social media reels. It's important that our message be propelled across the community, all the lengths and breadths of this country. And we cannot do it without you. So thank you. Starting at the top, the chairman, who's here representing the board of directors. We really appreciate your guidance, your cooperation, and assisting us with propelling the mandate of the NCSA. Is not a rewarding or really rewarding job or glamorous job. Saving souls, helping people. As Betty indicated, we can't come and say or report to the minister, to the country, that we save 10 people out of 300,000 persons. They're going to want to know what the NCSA are doing. But I know if we come into contact with 40,000 of those 300,000 persons and save 100, we have succeed. Called recovery, drug addiction is a lifelong disease. And Verdun always say this. For persons like Verdun, you are inspiration for a person like me, that I have seen so many persons that I know, that I grew up with, close friends, suffering from drug addiction. One of my very, very good friends,
And then get back.
he's still at it. Before you sit time, he's a rock star. Troy is a rock star. And he was telling me so for 6 months. No, he's no star. He's on the way side. And to look at him every day pains me. So I understand. I live drug addiction. I have seen it firsthand. So it's important for persons like Verdun and the others to tell their stories, so persons can understand the challenges that families, friends, and wider community experience for persons who are impacted by substance abuse. Sky Lounge Media. Yeah, don't look at me like that. it's important that persons like you work with the NCSA for us to, again, spread the message as well as possible. So I really appreciate you coming on board at the last minute. Maybe call, if we have a Sam, we need you tomorrow, you show up and show off. So thank you for doing that. And of course, the staff of the NCSA, we really appreciate you. As Betty said, there are 4 substance abuse prevention officers, just 4. 1 research and information officer, no. 1. The admin staff, there about 4 of y'all. 1 IT person. So imagine a staff of 2 counselors. Imagine a staff of just about 19 persons fighting the drug fight. As Betty said, it's changed fast. And I can tell you, I have seen it from the law enforcement side. Drugs move off the beach in seconds. And cocaine is moved faster. If weed is moved in 2 minutes, and that'd be 500 pounds of weed, 500 kilos of cocaine is moving in 30. I'm dead serious. Small, you can put 50 kilos of cocaine on your back and have a sack. So it gone in 30 seconds. Gone. So the whole fast situation, drug situation can change. So I really applaud the efforts of the staff of the NCSA. You're inspiration to me as well. And last but not least, you, the audience, we really appreciate you coming here tonight to share, to listen. And all of our ask of you when you leave here, spread the word. Follow the NCSA on NCSA Barbados on Instagram, and follow our YouTube pages as well. The more persons that spread the word, the far word reach. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor about the work of the NCSA. And please travel safe and have a good night. Thank you.
If you feel like you've lost control, or maybe you've lost your way, if you need someone to talk to, you can call us. You can call Lean on the NCSA.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, know that the National Council on Substance Abuse is here to help. You can give us a call at 535-6272 or visit ncsa.gov.bb.
Lean on the NCSA.